Hello and welcome to Relatable Code. In this video, we're going to talk about radio buttons and checkboxes in Android. So let's get started. So this is the UI that we will build in this video. We will have several radio buttons. We will have several checkboxes, a button, and a text to display the result that we need. Okay. Let's delete that XML code. Let's go to our main activity and delete this. We will write it later. And let's begin with the main activity XML. Okay. You can go to your palette right here and you can search for a radio group. Okay. Drag and drop that into your XML screen right there. And after that, go to your split view. Okay. Inside this radio group, we want to add some radio buttons. And to do that, we have to open the tag right there. Okay. And inside radio group, we will create 3 radio buttons. Okay. They will have a wrap content, height and width. Copy and paste that button twice like that. And our radio group will have an ID of radio group. Our first radio button will be RB underscore espresso. The one below that will be RB underscore Americano. And under that, we will have RB underscore, let's say, latte. Okay. And here you have your 3 radio buttons. We can add some text next to these radio buttons. And we can do it like that. Add a text for espresso, a text for Americano, and a text for your latte. Okay. So there we have a radio group. You can drag and drop that wherever you want. Okay. I think that's good. And now if we run our application, here you can see that we have these 3 radio buttons and they are fully functional. Okay. Radio buttons situated inside a radio group have a single selection feature, which means you can only select one of the radio buttons inside a radio group at the same time. Okay. You can't select more than one option at a time. And here we want to have the first option selected by default. Okay. You can go to your espresso here and you can have checked equals to true. Okay. We need this so that we have a proper UI for a radio group, because by default one option has to be selected. Okay, and there you have it. Espresso is now selected by default. Okay, and that's how you implement a radio group in XML. Okay, so underneath that radio group, we need to have some checkboxes. Okay, search for a checkbox inside your palette right here. You can find a checkbox, drag and drop that into your XML layout, copy that checkbox like that, and now you have 3 checkboxes. Okay, other than that, we need a button like that, and underneath that button, we need a text view. Okay, I think these can move up a little bit like that so that we can move our button up as well so that we can have more space for our text view. Okay. After you do that, you can select all of these views and you can click on Infer Constraints. Okay. so that we don't have to be bothered with the constraints of every view. And after that, go to your split view, and for the checkboxes, let's change the text of these checkboxes. For the first one, let's add an option for milk, and our second option will be sugar. And after that, we will have whipped cream. Okay. Now we have 3 radio buttons and 3 checkboxes as well. Okay. Run your application again. There's our application. We have a single selection for our radio group, and we have multiple selection for our checkboxes. Okay. You can select multiple items from the checkbox options, but you can only select a single option from your radio group. Okay. I think our views are a little dispersed. That's fine. Let's just move that button a little bit to the left. We can't do that. Okay, delete all constraints. This just bugs me, okay? I think I have OCD. Okay, let's move these a little to the left like that. I think that would be better. Can we move these as well? Yes, I think we can, like that. After that, select them all and click on Infer Constraints again. Okay, and now we have a more proper UI. So, after that's done, let's try to program these buttons. Okay, go to your Kotlin file, and for that we need to actually hold a bunch of references. Okay, so let's create them one by one. We need a reference for our radio group, like that, and this will be r.id.radiogroup. Okay, we need references for our checkboxes as well. I think the first one was milk checkbox, find view by ID, checkbox. Okay, let's change the IDs of our checkboxes. Name that CB for checkbox underscore milk. Name that CB underscore sugar. I think we need to switch them. Oh, okay. I thought they were in sequence, my bad. That's fine. Let's just have a Control Z and click on the first checkbox. That's it. We have CB underscore milk. And second checkbox, CB underscore sugar. Constrain it properly. Like that. CB underscore milk as well. And same goes for this guy right here. Okay, that looks proper. Now we can have a reference to them right here. One for doesn't contain a declaration with CB underscore milk. Okay. Sugar checkbox, and here we have whipped cream checkbox. One for sugar and one for whipped cream. Okay. Let's try to run our application. And the errors will disappear. Very often that will happen. Okay, so don't get alarmed. And now we have a button right here. What text should we give to this button? Let's just have print details. like that. Let's have btn underscore print underscore details, and our text view would be tv underscore details. Okay, and equals to find view by id dot id btn print details, and we have tv print details as well, or tv details in our case. Okay, same thing for these errors. They will disappear as soon as you run your application. Okay, so what do we need to do here? I think we need to fix a constraint. Okay, I think that looks good. Yes, I think this will now work after we run our application again. Okay, so when we click on print details, we need to check which type of coffee we selected from here, and all of the add-ons if we have any add-ons for that coffee. Okay, we need to print those into this text view. Okay, I say okay a lot. And here, let's first try to get which type of coffee we selected. This is a RadioGroup having an ID of RadioGroup, and we can work with that because we have a reference for that RadioGroup. Now we just need to get the selected radio button from that RadioGroup, and we can do that in Kotlin like this. We can create a variable called selected coffee equals to find view by ID. This will be a radio button, and the ID will be radio group dot checked radio button ID. Okay, and this will be text, and I'll show you how this works. Okay, this needs to be inside an on-click listener for our btn details, because we want to do this calculation after we press on the print details button. Okay, and tv print details dot text will be equal to selected coffee as a start. Okay, run your application again. Okay, there you have it. We have espresso. We click on print details and we get espresso. Okay, same thing goes for latte, and same thing goes for americano. And how did this work? Well, with find view by ID, you're used to passing the ID from the resources section. Okay, but here we're trying to calculate that ID programmatically. Okay, and this will change. This is not constant like r.id.print details or TV details. In that case, this checked radio button ID will change as you change your selection, basically. Okay, so this is how you can get the ID of the currently selected radio button from this radio group, which is radio group, basically, that variable. So what we did was, to get the text, we created a variable, and to find the radio button, the currently selected radio button, we used find view by ID radio button, and we needed to pass an ID. We had that figured out with radio group dot checked radio button ID, and to access the text of that radio button, we call the dot text function. Okay, that's how you get the text of a selection from a radio group. I hope that was clear. If you think that I went too fast, feel free to rewind that explanation, because you need to understand how we got this selection. Okay, and that was for the radio button. What about the checkboxes right here. We have 3 checkboxes, right? We can check if each one of these checkboxes is checked or not. Okay, and that's very easy to do. We can do that by milk checkbox dot is checked. Okay, that will tell us whether the checkbox for milk is checked or not. Okay, and we need to extract the text of every one of these checkboxes. And we can do that by creating variables the same way that we did for selected coffee. Okay, so here, let's create a variable for milk, have it equal to milk checkbox dot is checked. I think we need to place this inside an if statement. If that is the case, this will be milk with a new line prompt right there. Else, this will be an empty string. And I'll show you why we wrote it like that. Okay, just as soon as we run our application again, we need to have the same logic for sugar and whipped cream as well. So here we have sugar, and here we have whipped cream. Okay, and now instead of just displaying the selected coffee, let's display all of the information that we currently have. We can do it like that, coffee. After that, use \n, write ingredients. Also use \n and reference your milk, your sugar, and your whipped cream. Okay, run your application right there. By default, we don't have any checkbox checked. Let's try out print details. As you can see, you have coffee, espresso, and ingredients. We don't have any ingredients yet. Let's try to add sugar and milk, print details, and now you have milk and sugar and whipped cream as well. And that happened because we're checking for the milk checkbox. Let's change that for sugar checkbox and whipped cream checkbox. That's one of the cons of using copy-paste. One of the few cons. Okay, let's try that again. We have milk and sugar, print details. There you have ingredients, milk and sugar. Okay, remove milk, add whipped cream, and print details. You have ingredients, sugar and whipped cream. Okay, how did this work? Well, we were checking for milk at first. If the milk checkbox is checked, we are adding a text for milk. Okay, after that, we're going to a new line so that we can add another ingredient if we have one. Okay, that's why I wrote it like that. And if we don't have the milk checkbox checked, it will be just an empty string. Okay, which will prompt it to move to sugar in that case. The same thing happens for sugar with its checkbox. If it's checked, we add sugar to that text and we move to a new line. And if it's not checked, we basically append an empty string right there. The same thing goes for our whipped cream. Okay, and that's how we can dynamically figure out which radio buttons are checked and which checkboxes are checked as well. Okay. Note that you also have a nice function that can help you check if a checkbox is now checked or is unchecked at the moment that this check changes. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that with milk checkbox dot set on check change listener. Okay, check changed listener like that. You don't need this, and we can replace this with checked. Okay, here let's add a small log with check changed and basically just whether or not that was checked. Let me show you how that works. Run your application, open your logcat, change that to check changed. Okay, check changed. Open your emulator, and we added that for the milk, right? Here you can see check changed true, and now it's false. Okay, you can toggle that and you can listen to this check programmatically just like that. Okay, and that's very helpful, especially in some cases where you want to maybe calculate the total price of your receipt programmatically as the user is adding or removing some selections. Okay, this works for checkboxes and it works for radio buttons as well. Okay, I created 3 radio buttons right here, and we can run this check for this radio button. For example, it will be the same function as well. We don't need that parameter, and we can also rename that to checked. Okay, check changed. Let's have that for our radio button. Clear your logcat, run your application again. Open your logcat again, check your application. We added that for our Americano, right? Click on Americano, it's now checked. Click on another option, Americano is no longer checked. Okay, that's also very useful. You have that handy function for checkboxes and radio buttons as well. Okay, if you find my type of content to be relatable, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next video.